today on the morning show. Shanna Pearson is here. She is an adult ADHD coach with one focus, Total Success Incorporated. Good morning.
Good morning.
So at age 32, you always think of this as being diagnosed in children.
Yes.
At age 32, you were diagnosed. What were the signs, and what's sort of the difference just between being sort of scattered and actually having ADHD?
There's a huge difference. So ADHD it affects your brain, which means it affects everything you do. It affects your relationships, it affects your career, it affects your house, it affects your family, it affects the way that you do everything. So, in my life before I was diagnosed, everything was a little bit like a roller coaster where it's, very tumultuous. And that seems to be a very common thing for women, where it's just like a lot of drama in their life, a lot of inconsistencies. And at the end of the day, you have to figure out what is going on with you. Like, is this normal? Is this not normal?
Let me ask you, do you think this progressed over time? Do you think you always had it and you were just diagnosed
Absolutely.
at a later
Everybody
age?
who has ADHD has always had it. So it's not something that you develop, although in today's day and age, I feel like people are starting to develop certain symptoms and traits that are ADHD because of the amount of distractions that we're given on a daily basis. But for myself and for all of our clients, they've always had it. When I ask them how long have you been having these symptoms, everyone's like, my entire life, or since I was a baby, or whatever it is. And it's just like I can completely relate because it was exactly the same with me. It's just that people need to know that you've had these symptoms your whole life. It's fixable. Like, you can actually learn how to manage these symptoms.
I've heard someone describe it almost as a vehicle that is running in hyperdrive.
Yeah.
And then it's just about managing and slowing down the vehicle, because it's just like going in, almost you crash the car on a repeated basis throughout the day in whatever scenario it is. How would you describe it?
Right, that's a good metaphor. So the way I describe it is, it's just like having no filter. Everything comes into your head all at the same time, and your brain isn't able to compartmentalize, the importance of different things. So deciding what to fix your children for dinner takes the exact same amount of space in your brain and the exact same amount of worry in your mind as preparing for this huge interview that you have tomorrow, or something big that you have to do for work. It's like the same importance.
You feel overwhelmed all the time?
Yeah, well, people with ADHD tend to feel overwhelmed often before they learn how to manage their overwhelm. I used to be overwhelmed like at the highest grade, for most of my life, until I learned how to manage it. And everyone can learn how to manage it. So
the timing of your appearance is kind of uncanny, because last week I was watching Lisa Ling, Our America, and it was all about ADHD, and she was diagnosed at the age of 40. Now for her, she said her way of coping with it was becoming a journalist, because she could hyper-focus on one specific thing, one specific subject. So how did you turn your ADHD to a career in coaching?
Well, once I was diagnosed, I basically had to figure out methods and ways to manage it, because I'm somebody who personally, I'm not really able to take medication. So I don't even take Tylenol. So that's my situation. So it was do or die for me. I had to learn how to figure this out on my own, or else like my whole life was not going to turn out the way I wanted it to. So I created some systems that I knew would work for me, because I'm a self-aware person, and I know that I need certain amounts of stimulus. I actually need a lot of stimulus, like most of our clients do. So I just created systems that worked for me, and then that ended up being able to, I was able to share that with people I knew, because a lot of our friends are similar to us, and then it works for them, and then people just started coming to me for help, and it became huge. It became really big, and it just started out with just creating a system that would work for me, and now that's basically the source of everything that we do.
Now, obviously, men suffer from ADHD as well, but for women, I think, doesn't society put more pressure on women? So female sufferers of ADHD might find it even harder, because we're supposed to be the organized ones, the ones who remember birthdays and events and all these things that obviously kind of fall to pieces if everything's coming at you.
Right.
So how does one, if it's really something that's internal in your brain and you've had it since you were a kid, how do you get out of it? How do you organize your life? Or if it's not medicine.
Yeah, so there's very specific ADHD-friendly tools that people can learn to use that will actually take them like through their entire life of being able to manage their symptoms. We do that every single day. And the thing about women is that you're right, like there's a lot of pressure on women to do a whole bunch of different things all at the same time, and yet the ironic thing is that these women who actually have ADHD, they're not even being necessarily, a lot of them are going under the wire. They're not being diagnosed with ADHD as easily as men are. I think the ratio is 3 times the amount of men are diagnosed with ADHD than women, but it occurs equally.
Right.
So women need to know that it might actually be ADHD, and they can actually get help for this. They can learn to manage their symptoms. And
real quick, we have to wrap up, but give your website.
Expert ADHD Coaching.com. And we offer a free session. So anybody who thinks they might have ADHD or they know someone who might have ADHD, give us a call and we'll help you. 100% is the best investment you can make. It's just time.
Shanna Pearson, thank you so much.
You're welcome.